Okay, Bertram, let's try it one more time. This is Crash Bandicoot. He does not live in a pineapple, and he does not live under the sea. That would be SpongeBob SquarePants. This is Crash Bandicoot. Do you understand now? Oh, and if I can just give you one piece of advice, Bertram. If you're going to use one of my action figures as some kind of sex toy, might I recommend you use something a little bit softer than this. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Obsessive Compulsive Gaming. I am the Obsessive Compulsive Gamer, joined once again by my faithful manservant / factotum Bertram, and this is my review for Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about fucking time. I said the wrong title again, didn't I, Bertram? Please note that no marsupials were harmed in the making of this review. It's not that I've ever had the compulsion to harm a marsupial, but they're so funny. I have often wondered what it would be like to wipe my backside with one. So, I'd like to make it absolutely clear that I did not do that in the process of making this video, even though I did take quite a few toilet breaks and longed for their furry embrace upon my buttocks. Moving on, Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, was dumped for the PlayStation 4 in the toilets that was 2020. But I'm not reviewing that version today. No. Today, I am reviewing the PlayStation 5 version. So, what is Crash Bandicoot 4? Well, I'm so glad you asked, dear viewer. It is the true sequel to Crash Bandicoot 3, What? That released on the original PlayStation when most of you were probably still an uncomfortable itch in your father's G-string. Any previous sequels that came after Crash Bandicoot 3 are now being treated like God at an atheist tea party. Like they don't exist. And on that note, let me just say, that's the last time I throw one of those tea parties. A couple of Satanists decided to invite themselves, and let's just say it got bloody, and leave it at that. So, story. Once again, Crash must stop some madman who may or may not be neocortex from, doing something nefarious. On a side note, a few years ago, I came up with my very own Crash Bandicoot villain. Someone inspired by my very own British ancestors, who visited distant lands in search of men they would employ to carry their luggage, cook their meals, bathe them, masturbate them, and essentially be a dog's body for my ancestors. These men would be paid nothing and given an uncomfortable, luxurious cage to sleep in. I called my villain Enslave. Clever, no? But we're not here to talk about villains. We are here to talk about Crash. And once again, Crash has the vocal prowess of Helen Keller. It's not that I think he might be a little simple, more, how can I say this without being offensive? Yes, it's more that he's retarded. Now, platforming is once again the name of the game in Crash Bandicoot 4, and you are going to find yourself jumping more in this game than a kangaroo on cocaine. But what are you going to be jumping on? Well, enemies for one, boss fights for another, and boxes. Crash Bandicoot has as much a fetish for boxes as I do for Evergreen. That woman could eat me up and regurgitate me like last night's chicken kebab, and I would die happy. Probably soaked in stomach acid and other undesirable juices, but happy. Ooh, that reminds me. I have to raise an issue that has been on my mind for quite some time, dear viewer. But I do believe that the original developers of these games, Naughty Dog, fabricated the animal known as a bandicoot. In all of the years I have lived on this planet, I have never once seen a bandicoot. Granted, I live in the great nation of Britain, but, still, I mean, we have everything here for God's sake. In fact, I once saw a shop selling imported boxes of Coco Pops. A product we've been able to get here for centuries. This particular shop went to all the trouble of importing bloody Coco Pops. And then had the gall, the nerve, the audacity to charge 3 times what they usually sell for. Bloody Coco Pops for the same price I could buy condoms. Extra large condoms. Extra large condoms. What the hell was I even talking about? Oh yes, bandicoots. They don't exist. It's a lie. A lie, I tell you. 3 times the price. Moving on. So, what can you expect from this game? Well, a damn good time for one. But also, insane difficulty. There were parts of this game so difficult, I actually considered asking Cortana for help. But then I remembered she's a woman, so she would probably never let me hear the end of it if I asked her for help. What else can I tell you? Oh yes, the chase sections return, where you are usually chased by a monster of some kind. So a dinosaur, a god, Kevin Spacey, etc., etc. Oh, and there are also new stages called timelines, where we get to play as characters such as Neocortex, Dingodile, and even Torna. But not, as you might remember her. This is a Torna from an alternate reality, and I must say, she is really rather fetching. Now, I did make a rule about no hanky-panky with video game characters after what happened with Bayonetta, but for Torna, I may make an exception. Now, where did I put my cologne and those condoms? Extra large condoms. Extra large condoms. What else? Oh yes, we can also play as Crash's sister Coco in this game. That reminds me. Did I tell you that I once saw a shop selling imported boxes of Coco Pops? A product we've been able to get here for centuries. And this particular shop went to all the trouble of importing bloody Coco Pops and then had the gall, the nerve, the audacity to charge 3 times what they usually sell for. What? Oh, I did tell you. Haha, well, that's okay then. Yes, anyway, we can play as Coco, and she plays exactly like Crash, except she's a woman. And that's all I have to say about that. Now, I'm sure I don't have to tell you, as you can see here in the gameplay I'm using, but this is the best looking Crash Bandicoot since, well, the last one. And let me just say how much I love all of the character redesigns, especially Crash. I mean, he still sounds like someone who has just had brain surgery, then a brick thrown at them by Kevin Bloody McAllister, but that doesn't take away from how good he looks. So, it looks good, it plays good, it's lots of fun, and you'll definitely want to hog it for yourself. Reminds me of my first sex doll. And like that, I am going to score Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time at 8 out of 10. Yes. So, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. My review for Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time. If you enjoyed this little review of mine, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't enjoyed it, well then, feel free to give me a thumbs down. Please remember to hit that like, subscribe, bell button thingy. Feel free to jump over to my Twitch channel, which is damn hilarious, might I add. But remember the single most important thing I always tell you, ladies and gentlemen, and that is to always stay obsessed with gaming. Yes. Now, Bertram, let's have a discussion about the Crash Bandicoot figure once more, just to make sure you're getting the point. I don't want you confusing him with SpongeBob SquarePants ever again.